Hey, 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 I'm back. I'm black. I'm brown. Ambition, 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 ambition. If you don't watch us on YouTube, you need to. Sidebar, Mandy's not here. She might come later. I know she put the baby down, but I got y'all either way. It's going to be like an update episode because, some things have been happening. But if you don't watch us on YouTube, you need to, because our producer, Imani, she was like, girl, these brows, she didn't say these lashes, but she ought to have these lashes, this lip pop, girl, these edges, the hair, everything, the skin is skinning. Yes, I'm bigging myself up because I had said in the beginning of the year that I wanted to lean into my feminine. Because you know me in person, I'm a huge tomboy. I've always been. But look at my nails. They're not long, but they're done. I literally never, ever get my nails done. But I have been getting them done consistently, looking like a girl in things. I wanted to lean into my feminine. It's just a part of myself that, I've always been kind of the tomboy. Certainly when you see me on the stage, your girl be dressed up. But like in my day-to-day life, I made zero effort. And I was just like, I don't, I want to feel good about when I wake up and look in the mirror and all that kind of stuff. And I just never thought about it, especially when you have a partner that loves you, your stinky feet. I had just not thought about it. And I probably should have made more effort then, but he never made me feel like I had to make much of an effort to be fly. But without him here, I said I wanted to lean in, make more of an effort. And I have been. Your girl has been getting her lashes done consistently. Lashes cost about, I think I want to say, my lady charged me like $80 and I give her a $20 tip. So like $100, that's every 2 weeks. Ciao. Because, we do math, financial math around here. Because it's, first of all, let me just dial back and say the girls who have been keeping it up and keeping it together, how are you affording it? It's expensive. So let's talk about lashes. $80 every 2 weeks, $100, really, I give her a tip. That's $200 a month. Damn. Okay. Let's talk about brows. The brows are not too expensive. They're $15 and I get it done every 2 or 3 weeks. Let's just say $30 a month. Damn. So now we're looking at $230. Okay. And then, what's gotten to be really expensive is skincare. I've always had decent skin, but I didn't want to have decent skin. I wanted to have, damn, you glowing, what you use, how old are you skin, And so skin products, like I use this thing, because I have very sensitive skin. I mean, you breathe wrong and my skin breaks out, in a rash, everything. And so I don't really have acne issues, just really sensitive. Like I can't wash my clothes and just anything. I can't even wear certain lip glosses without my lips breaking out. I've always had very, very, very sensitive skin. And so I use Burt's Bees stuff. Ola, it's in the yellow orange container. Ola Henderson, child. They have a line. And I like their skincare line because it doesn't break me out and it gives me a little glow. I wanted to use, all y'all girls have been up on that snail mucilin, whatever. I tried it. My skin was like, you fool. Look how you going to look for the rest of the week. So I found a hypoallergenic replacement. But all these things are like $30 for this one little thing, $40 for why it costs so much? So I think, and then my hair, which I just get done, retighten every month and a half to 2 months, I get my hair retightened. And so that costs me, how much do I pay? I want to say he told me, is it 120? Something like that. Let's just say I give him 150, right? Or 180 or something like that, 150, but divide that by $275. So we're looking at, 230 plus 75. You're looking at about $300 plus the skin stuff. Let's just say another $50. So like $350 a month just to say, I woke up like this. And I'm sure I'm forgetting things. Oh, and nails. Oh, child, nails. So I get that. What is that stuff called that you guys put like, not the tips, the powder, right? And I don't know if that's more or less expensive, child. I don't know. And so I don't get them really long. I get them like, cause I'm like, I have to get accustomed to having just a little bit of nails. Cause I used to just have nubs. And so that cost, I want to say, is it $60 for fill-ins? I think so. I think it's $60 for fill-ins. Yes, I'm almost positive it's $60 for fill-ins, which I think I've heard is kind of high, but I've tried other places that were cheaper, and within 2 or 3 days, ping, 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 my nails is gone. So I keep going back to this place called Elite Nails in Montclair because it's the only place that I've gone with me and my rough and tough self. Because I rock rough and tough my Afro puffs, where the tips don't ever fall. I've never lost the tip. No matter, even if I've gone back in 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks or 3.5 weeks, I've never lost a nail. So, and that's $60. And that's every 2 weeks. So that's another 120. So what's the math? Like we're doing the math now. 200, then 230, then 300, then 350, then 120 plus what? 420. So let's just say $450 a month on just to look cute. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep it up if I'm being honest, but I'm trying, girl. Let me know. Like, Instagram me, Instagram us, Brown Ambition Podcast, Twitter, the BA Podcast. Like, how much do you pay for upkeep? Am I paying too much? Like lashes at 15. I feel like that's reasonable. Not lashes, brows at 15. I don't know how much lashes go for, but $80. I don't know. Is that reasonable? I like Jessica. She does a good job. And my lashes last. Because I've been to other places that were cheaper. And within 3 days, you're literally crying lashes because they're just falling down your face. Yeah. So like $450 a month. That just seems, I mean, I think about my bonus baby, Alyssa. I mean, hair done, nails done, everything did. I used to hear her dad say, "You are so expensive." And I didn't get it because I wasn't doing all the upkeep. Meanwhile, she like 13, 14 doing all the upkeep and I was not doing that. So yeah, I'm just like, we're going to see how long this lasts. I've always got my brows done. And of course I've always got my hair retightened. So those are not new things, but the lashes, the nails, all that other stuff. Oh no, girl, $500 a month. I could be in the market. Yeah, so I just want to give you an update on if you were watching the YouTube, you would see my glow up. What else? Some other updates. I told you I went to that trip to Africa with Black Girls Travel too. We love to shout out a Black girl brand. Amazing. If you want to travel and you don't want to make any plans, and you want somebody to plan everything, you just have to get your flight to the place and back home. Black Girls Travel 2, TOO. Awesome sauce. I had such an awesome time. I went on the South Africa and Beyond trip. So we did Johannesburg, Cape Town, Zimbabwe, and then day trips to Zambia and Botswana. Everything from safaris, cooking classes, the best restaurants. Oh my gosh, we ate so well. The most amazing, amazing, amazing hotels. Yeah, it just was an amazing experience. And I suggest to everybody, Black Girls Travel 200. And then I just want to give you an update about business. So business has been, I told you last year that business was really rough and tough with my Afro puffs. And I could not understand what was happening or why things were so slow. To give you context, my biggest business at the time, my Literature Academy, was down 40%. So if we were making $100, a year, or 100,000, let's just say, right? Well, if we make way more than that, right? Because we typically make that monthly, if I'm being honest. We were down to $60. That's crazy. And some of it was just like we had not pivoted quickly, but some of it was, there was a shift in the marketplace that I could not put my finger on. And at first I thought we were doing everything wrong. So that on that front, right, the Literature Academy space, we were down 40%. On the Budgetnista side, we were down even worse than that. So the Budgetnista typically makes a couple $1,000,000 a year. That's kind of like my chill business where someone says, hey, do you like our product? You want to talk about it? Sure. Hey, you want to speak? Sure. So the Budgetnista, I don't do major pushes for. Also too, with Budgetnista, I do mentoring through my mentor, Tiffany.com. That's like $20 a month. That makes about $250,000 a year. And then also too, the Budgetnista have books. And so, my book Get Good with Money still sells about 700-800 copies a week. And so I want to say twice a year, they sent me like a check, And so I also have like online books, not online books, but self-published books that make a few $1,000s a month. So you figure for the Budgetnista, I'm bringing in like 2 million plus here and there, Last year, I love the transparency. We brought in literally just under 800,000. That's the lowest. I can't even remember bringing in that little. It was not enough to cover. We started the year off with 6 months of emergency savings. we ended the year with 1 month. So not only did we use the 700, like 799,000 or 739,000, whatever we made last year, we also had to use our monthly, our emergency savings to see us through. And so if I did not have emergency savings, that's why a lot of my friends, here's the thing. This is why it's important to have people in the financial space, the business space, the career space that you're in to help let you know, like to help keep you updated about like, is this normal? So at first I thought we just messing up, like, and we work hard over here, but I thought maybe I lost my touch. People not interested in Budgetnista no more. I didn't know what was happening, honestly, because in the beginning, I'm never worried because things happen in business, but I usually have 10 get out of jail free cards. I'm like, we're going to do this. We tried that. Didn't work. We're going to do this. We're going to reach out to brands. We're going to, everything that normally would work did not work. So by Q3, I was really worried because I said, nothing is working and I still have to pay all the bills. Like I said, thank goodness that I had 6 months of emergency savings. A lot of my friends went out of business because they didn't have emergency savings. So let this be a warning to you in business or your personal life. Get your emergency savings up. In business, at least 6 months. Personal life, at least 3. More, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, right? And so like the reason why I had 6 months is because during the pandemic, I had read this article that Microsoft had 1 year worth of operating expenses saved. And during the pandemic, most of us were doing really well in business. Many businesses thrive. I know I did. That's when I had my first 8-figure year. I made my first $10 million in a year during the pandemic. But something said, this feels unnatural. This doesn't feel like the new. This feels like there's something special happening. Hello, we're in a panorama. So even though we made that 10 million, it didn't feel sustainable. You know what I mean? I had friends who literally during the pandemic in those 2 years made $60 million when they made nothing before. Is that real? No. So you can't like hang your hat on that hook. And so when I read that Microsoft had 1 year saved, I said, they know something that I don't know. Let me start to save. And so thankfully I hit up my CFO. I said, I want us to save for, just in case while we have the money. And so we got 6 months worth of emergency savings. So within the first year. So we didn't need it when did the pandemic hit? 2020? We didn't need it 2020. We didn't need it 2021, right? I think 2020 is the pandemic. And we didn't need it 2022. We was good. And then 2023, last year, thank God both companies had 6 months of emergency savings. Thankfully, the Literature Academy didn't need it. Although our revenue dropped by 40%, we were still able to pay the bills with what we made because it's a very profitable business. And we were still, I think last time I checked, we were like 35% profit. It's just we had less business, but we were still very profitable relative to like what was happening. But the Budgetnista was not. We were negative. So much so, like there were times like in business, most quarters, I'm getting all sweaty. Most quarters, my quarterly taxes are 6 figures. 100,000, whatever. And I'm like, and I remember it was so bad that when I went to go pay the quarterly taxes, I was asking my CFO, how much do I owe? She was like, nothing. I said, no, I can't owe nothing, girl. She was like, yeah, the thing is you pay taxes on what you've made. You ain't make nothing. I was like, I don't know if to be happy or sad, right? It's because usually the way it works in business is you make, say, $1 million and then you spend $500,000 to run your company and you pay taxes on the $500,000 that's left. So if your company makes 700,000 but spends $1 million to run, girl, you negative. You ain't got to pay no taxes. I was like, oh, okay. The ghetto. So we didn't have to pay no taxes because we didn't make any money. But the lessons that I learned, and I hope that you take away, is that one, whenever you have an unnatural swing in one direction, I want you to really literally think about it like a swing, right? You're at the park. What happens when you pull the swing all the way? Remember you're a kid and you're like, pushing your friend or they're pushing you and they push you all the way up as high as their arms can go. They're pushing you on the swing and they let go. So you are at the extreme point up. What is going to happen? The swing doesn't just right itself and bring you to center. No. The swing goes all the way to the extreme point back, right? And it will keep going back and forth until it rights itself. So I learned that lesson, and I kind of knew, that's why I had my money prepared, that the pandemic gave us an unnatural lift up. And so in order to right itself, it had to go all the way back to bring me back to center. And so thankfully, like I said, I had emergency savings to see myself through, but I was worried. And I actually think that 6 months might not be enough, because we were down to 1 month. And if we had not hit the ground running in January, which we did, this year is already a great year. We made in 1 month what we made all last year. So this year, the Budgetnista, she's back. If anything, the Budgetnista is actually doing better than ever, you know? So, but instead of being like, yay, I'm like, let us prepare. Let's get back. I think we have 4 or 5 months of emergency savings, so we have to replenish. So I want to probably get to 8 months of emergency savings, because I'm like, child, I don't want to live that life again. And also, too, I'm asking myself, how do we diversify our products and services? So we are going to be launching additional products and services that allow us to hit different types of customers, right? Because if you only have one type of customer and that customer is not paying, then you find yourself in a really bad way. The Budgetnista, we just got our first contract. We're going to be teaching financial education for a school system during the summertime. So we got a contract there. It was good. It was like multiple 6 figures. Great. We've never done that before, but this is great money. And it's a 2-year contract. So it's like, okay, now what? We are launching. So y'all have been loving my book, Get Good with Money. It was 8 weeks on the New York Times bestsellers list. Still sells about 800 copies a week. And so we're building a course around it called the Big Get Good with Money Plan. So, cause so many people want more hand holding. So I'm like, great. That is I've never had the Get Good with Money Plan before. We are creating that, cause it's like, 1, you get money through contracts. Great. That's one way. 2, can I create, a product or service that's going to be very useful to the audience that I serve? And y'all are loving the book, so why wouldn't you not want the actual course plan? Okay. What else? I hired someone to help me book more sponsorships, because before I used to literally just wait for things to come to my inbox. And so we literally hired someone called the sponsorship lady that is pitching us currently right now, because I want to be more proactive there. Okay. I also hired someone that's going to be pitching me for more speaking engagements. Typically, like I said, the Budgetnista was my chill brand. Things would just land in my inbox and I would say, okay, but I'm like, no, let's be more intentional. And so also, too, I'm building out more communities, because people are like, Tiffany, I'm beyond the basics. I want to have access to other types of resources. So I'm building these communities where you can have access for a monthly fee. Like I have a community for my business owners, right? Where I mentor them once a month. And so that's $20 a month. So are there other communities I can build out? Because and it will, because that's the way the economy that works, and that's the way business works. When another slow season comes, it's like, slow in what season? Is it slow for overall business to business? Is it slow for business to customer? Like, I want to be able to offset any drop in income, where it's like, oh my gosh, spokesperson work is down, but that's okay because we still have our contracts. Oh my gosh, they're not doing contracts anymore. That's okay because we still have our B2C, where business to consumer, where you guys are buying courses. Do you see what I mean? And so I'm just trying to be smarter about the way we navigate business. Actually, today, I'm actually meeting with a business strategist to look at all the ways we navigate business and to shore up some of those things, to say, here are the 4 or 5 ways that you deliver the same thing. So ultimately, y'all know the Budgetnista is in the business of teaching financial education, especially to women of color. We don't turn anyone away, but that's our core audience. So how many ways can I deliver financial education? I could do so through books. I could do so through courses, through contracts, through spokesperson, through speaking, it's the same business. Just how many ways can you cook this cake? Okay. Right. And so, yeah, so this is just like a little kind of like catch up, but also a mini lesson in how can you do this in your business if you have a business, but also how can you do this in your career? What are other things that you can get really good at, so you are never at the mercy of like what is happening externally? That's one of my friends, she was like, her current job right now, she's not really loving it. She feels like they're not really loving her. She's not sure if they're going to keep her. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I lose this job. I really needed to pay bills. And I said, well, what other things can you set up so you're not at the mercy of just this way of making money? She's like, there's nothing. I said, you sure? She's really good at, she's a photographer, but she's really good at like video and stuff. I was like, I actually was one of the things, one of the reasons why I love having my own business, because I love to be able to provide opportunities for the people that I care about. Right. So I was like, I need a reel. So the person I hired was like, we need a speaking reel and we need like a media reel. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to hire her. Cause I'm like, girl, you've been doing all this video stuff. I've been seeing you do it. I'm going to hire you to do that. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, girl, because I know you do a good job. I've seen you do it. But also too, because if you do a good job with me, I have so many friends with businesses that are going to say, who did that for you? And, you have the potential to be hired there too. And she's like, I never thought about it that way. Also, too, for example, I offered this to my sister who hated her job and wanted to quit. I said, I right now don't pitch myself for speaking engagements. They just land in my inbox. But if you pitch me, you can get a percentage of whatever I get paid. Typically, the percentage is about 10%. Sometimes people go as high as 25% for speaking engagements and stuff. But 10% is like, I wouldn't say the average, but that's what I'm offering. And she was like, and because it's me, I can get upwards of $100,000 to speak. That's only happened a couple of times, but still, on average, I want to say I get 30 to 50,000 is the offer, right? But just imagine that, like, and she doesn't even have to go super hard to start. I have a list of places where I have been offered to speak or paid to speak over the last 2 or 3 years. You create 2 to 3 pitch emails to say, hey, would you like to have Tiffany back? And then you follow up with them a couple of times. And if you book me for 30,000, that's 3,000 you don't have to do anything. I'm the one who has to speak. And so this is what I mean, that one of my mentors told me a long time ago that there are so many ways to make income out there that you can't even fathom. But you have to be open to the ways. So I've been telling that to my sister for the longest, and she's still crying broke. I'm like, girl, you don't want to make money. Because I told you behind, I'm an easy pitch, sis. The girls love when I speak. That's what I do. I'm a chataholic. And I just don't have the capacity, and neither does my team, because we're working on other things, to actively pitch to people who are interested in me speaking. Girl, it's available and out there for you. So we're going to see if she take it. And if not, well, she just going to whine and cry out, And so ask yourself, even in your own space, are there opportunities that you're like turning your nose up at? And I could tell she's probably thinking like, well, I don't want to do that for a living. Okay, you don't have to do it for a living, just to make money. Do you think people are driving Uber for a living? No. They're getting their coin up so they can create space for themselves to decide what their next move is going to be in their career. This allows you to just make additional income. So, these are just some of the things that I think about. Like I call that the bank. So for me, I always have in my mind, if my back is against the wall, what can I do to make bank? Like literally go to the bank and withdraw money. And so one of the things I know, people all ask me all the time if I would do like one-on-one, like business coaching. I don't have necessarily the capacity, but I know that if I really wanted to make bank, I can make myself available to say 10 people for one-on-one business coaching. I just every single month, because I've coached people. One of my friends, I coached her from negative $150,000 she made that the year before. And within 2 years of me like meeting with her every month, she was making $2 million a year plus, and she's making even more now. I didn't even know all that because we were just friends. She would literally come to Newark. We would take a walk every month, and I would just talk through some of the issues she was navigating, give her some of the tools and resources I was using. So negative 6 figures to $2 million in 2 years. And so I know that I could charge for annually to work with me one-on-one. Maybe I'm only going to take 10 people so I don't get overwhelmed, because I would have to do 10 coaching calls a month, which is a lot, but I could do that. I know I could charge probably $25,000 for that, maybe more even, not even maybe more, and people will pay it. Not everybody, but I would just need 10 people. There are people who ask me now. A woman just asked me now, how much for a VIP day? I'm like, what do you mean? She said, that's when I could sit with you and work with you from like for 12 hours to map out my business and what I'm doing and what tools and what resource, whatever. And I was like, oh, I had asked my friends, how much do VIP days go for? And they were like anywhere from $30,000 to $60,000 for a VIP day. I was like, what? So I told that girl 50,000. She said, okay, that seems reasonable. I said, but I'm not doing it now. I'm just, just curious. Like, the girls will pay me that? Hello. So that is one of my banks, that if I got really back against the wall, I know I could potentially use that as a bank. You might be like, girl, I wouldn't pay you that, but you're not my customer then. There are at least 10 women who maybe they're making 6 figures in business. maybe they're making 300,000 and they trying to crack the $1 million mark or more, who absolutely would be like, because it's not just me giving advice. I'm like, this is who we use for tech support. This is who we use for accounting. This is who I use for financial advising. This is who I use. Marketing. This is like, in 15 years, I've learned so many things in business that I don't even realize that are not a small thing. And so as a result of that, it's just really valuable, and it's helped people exponentially increase their business. I've helped so many people go from 0 to 6 figures, and more than a handful of people go from 6 figures to 7. So that is one of my banks that I know I could lean into if I had to. And I could even charge more and I'm not talking about bank for Tiffany. If Tiffany ran into trouble, this is what I'm talking about for the business. I could charge even more if I said, hey, I would involve my team. You would get my content person to meet us on a call. You would get my community person. You would get my marketing person, my financial person. I could charge even more, if I was going to do that kind of coaching. So just things to think about. Like, one, do you have your emergency money? Are you starting to build that? If not, you need to. This is in business, career, personal life. 2, have you identified your bank? Where's a place you can go to for money if you had to? Don't wait for a job to tell you they don't want you. Like, is it Uber? Is it writing resumes? Is it making dinners? Whatever. You don't have to be doing the bank, but you need to identify it and test it out a little to know this is where you can go for extra money if you need it. And 3, you should always be improving. I'm not the same Tiffany from 15 years ago. They gotta talk to me different. I have created a space for myself where I'm one of one and I'm number one. Okay. So what does that mean? That means when someone comes to me and they say like, oh, maybe that whatever I'm charging is too much money. They literally can't replace me with someone just like me. They've tried, but they'll come back and say, wow, her presentation wasn't as good as yours. I know. Or wow, that person didn't have as big of an audience. I know. Or wow, they don't have a New York Times bestseller. I know. Or wow, they're not media trained. Girl, Today's Show, Good Morning America. Girl, you see me on all of, I know. And so I have over time purposefully acquired these things. So that way, when you come see about me, then I have made myself so special that you either have to get me or go get more money, because you know what I mean? There is no replacement of me. And so you can do that at your job. You can also do that in business. Like, how do you make yourself such a standout that people find more money for you? I've done this for my team. I had team members ask me for raises, which we could not afford last year, and I was like, what am I going to do to keep this, these people who are amazing? I wanted these team members so badly. I said, look, transparently, because we're always transparent. Here's how much we make. Here's how much we spend monthly. We're negative. And they were like, oh, dag. And I said, I would love to give you a raise, but I have no money to do so. I'm just trying to keep us alive. But here's what I can do. I can give you, here's how I get paid as a business owner. I get my salary, which I pay myself the least out of everybody on the team. I make half of what, most people on our team, I want more than half, make 6 figures. I make half that, right? That is my annual salary. And that's intentional to make sure everybody gets paid first. And then what's left over every quarter, I get to take an owner's draw. So sometimes ain't no owner's draw. Like last year was no owner's draw. I made $50,000, period, right? For one of my companies, the other one I was able to get an owner's draw, but last year. But this year is doing well. So if, let's say in a quarter, we made $1 million in a quarter, and then we spent $500,000, to make that $1 million. Then what's left over after taxes and savings might be saying $200,000. As an owner's draw, I can pull that $200,000 for myself, right? That's the benefit of being an owner, that if we make money, I get a lion's share. And if we don't, then I get least out of everybody else because we got to make money. That's how I like to navigate. So I told them transparently, they knew that's how I got paid, but I said, let's reiterate so you know how I get paid. I get paid a salary, then I get an owner's draw, but if there's no money, I don't get paid. What if you can get paid like me? And they were like, tell me more. I said, what if you maintain your salary? Because I do not have money for a raise. As you can see, I've shared the numbers with you. But what if my owner's draw, if I get $100,000 for this owner's draw this quarter because we've done so well, what if I set aside 20% of my draw every quarter and put it into a bonus pool, a profit sharing pool. They were like, ooh. And I said, from that 20%, you guys, depending on what percentage of the payroll pool you get. So let's just say, I have this big payroll pool. I have 4 people and you make 30% of the payroll pool, like that's how much, if I was looking at payroll in total, 30% of that is going to your pay. Right. So I said, I'm going to set aside 20% of what my owner's draw is going to be. And you're going to get a percentage of that 20%. Whatever your percentage for the payroll pool is, you get 20% or 30% of the payroll pool, you get 30% of the profit sharing pool. And they were like, okay, so obviously last year there was no money because we didn't make any. But this year already, Q1, we did good. And I want to say the highest bonus for someone was it 3? It was between $3,000 and $5,000. Maybe it was 3,000 or 4,000. That's great. All of a sudden, boom, $3,000 that you wasn't going to get before. Now, Q2, we knocked Q2 out the park. I mean, out the park. We made a Q2 more in Q2 of this year, more than what we made all last year. So they are already looking like, what that bonus pool looking like? What that bonus pool looking like? So they're excited. So I don't know. The bonus pool might be so great that the most paid person from the payroll pool, it might be, I don't know. It might be $8,000 as a bonus, $10,000, who knows? By the end of the year, for sure, they will have made $10,000 plus from the bonus pool if we look at every single quarter added up. But that's tremendous. So you're asking for a raise, but the bonus pool allows me to give you money based upon how well the company's doing. But do you see what happens when you make yourself so valuable? A way is made for you. I cannot lose them. They are amazing on the team. I mean, certainly I could find somebody else, but to find somebody that understands the business, I like working with, is really smart, is really great. I don't want to lose them. So I don't mind sharing 20% of what I make with them, because if we make more, 80% is still a tremendous amount. And guess what? We are doing so well because they know that 20% is waiting for them. We're making way more. So some people would say, well, girl, I'm going to get 20% up of my 100%. Yes, but we're making like 20%. Let's just say without this like incentive, I would have taken home 100,000. But with this incentive, I might take home 500,000 because they're going so hard because they want to pad that bonus pool. So I share all that to say that is another tool that you can use in your tool chest, is to make yourself so valuable that people find a way. And even if they can't find a way, you're so valuable that anybody on my team is so amazing, they would get scooped up in a heartbeat. I know that they would get, people are waiting at the door for some people on my team to not be on my team no more, because that's just how much value they bring to the table. And so, so just things to think about. A little catch up. Well, I guess Mandy ain't joining us today, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a catch up. Hopefully that was helpful and useful. So on Friday, we have our BAQA. So if you have questions that need answering about business, about career, about entrepreneurship, you can email us at brownambitionpodcast@gmail.com or brownambitionpodcast.com. Click contact us, or our favorite, Brown Ambition Podcast on IG. Slide in the DMs. You can ask us our questions there. Please tell me, how much are you spending monthly on your keep it cute upkeep? And let me know, am I paying too much? I mean, I do live in Jersey, so keep that in mind. So the Northeast, I don't even know what the things be going for. And is there any other upkeep that I'm forgetting? Child, I don't even know if I want to know, honey, like what other stuff y'all are doing. Like, I know the girls be doing Botox and fillers. I'm not there yet. I say yet. Because this good African genes got me wrinkle free. My mom is in her 70s. She ain't got a wrinkle. So we might be able to bypass Botox. We gonna see. And I'm scared of the fillers. You filler girls, how's it going? Because I feel like it's cute at first. And then pillow face comes. And I'm like, I don't want that for me. I don't want that for you. But I know that I have a friend that gets filler and she looks amazing. But I'm like, what is she doing that the other girls are not doing? Because some of the girls is going too far with the filler. So I have not ventured into that space yet. I'm not saying I would never, but I'm too scared because y'all not gonna be giggling at my face on the pod or on Instagram like, what happened to Tiffany's face? It's puffy. Right now I'm just using my lotions and my elixirs. All right. Until next week, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.